Scissors is fine. Scissors, but makes a nice noise. Careful with your fingers, but otherwise that's fine. I imagine this must be warm. Must be like sugar material, quite warm. He's got it over a heater there, has he? Heat gun. Making it more malleable. I assume that's what that is. He's working it. It's almost like, you know, you see the videos of them doing the... I'll get a new window for this. You see them doing the big candy. Candy. If I just put that... No, I don't look. That was a bit vague, wasn't it? But... You see them doing the... There's loads of foreign ones. I saw some Americans doing it. Or they might be Australians. And they have to pull this stuff. Handmade candy. Korean, it's all Korean. But it's the same thing. It doesn't matter where it is. So you boil it up, it's hot, it's sugar, yeah? And you do not want to get this boiling hot sugar on you. Like, that stuff is absolutely... Like, that's sugar, and it's boiling, chuffing hot, yeah? So do not get that on you. It's bad. And they pour it out, and then they start to work it with the different colours. And then, once they've got the different colours and designs, it's starting to cool, you see. So, as it cools, it becomes more solid. And then they make these little... lumps, and then they bang them all together in a big pile and make colours and shapes. And then, can you guess what's coming? Can you guess what's coming? After they put it, and this is quite satisfying, the snipping and the clipping and the snipping. I mean, that's still probably quite warm, that stuff, so be careful. And then they pull it, they stretch it out, and then at the end of it all, we call this rock in the UK, we call it sticks of rock. If you don't have to clip it into individual little pieces, you can leave it as a stick, and we call it sticks of rock. But in this, I imagine they're going to clip it into individual pieces, so individual little candies, little sweets. And that whole big process was all for this little bit of sweets that comes out at the end like that. So that's what that is, and that happens all over the world. And then what we were just watching then, what this is, it's kind of like that. Like, part of that process that we didn't see is the pulling. They put it over a hook, they pull and they stretch, and they pull and they stretch. When it's in the cooling process. So it's kind of like he's done that on those little ends of the chopsticks with just a small amount. It's kind of like he's pulling it there and like working it between these two chopsticks, but not loads of it. Interesting. Must be fine for him to get his hands on it. He's got a little style. Just doing a little small amount. It's quite interesting. Something's happening now. Don't know what it is that's happening, but something is happening. He's like giving it a shape and a move and a tweak and a squeeze, and he's starting to snip it with some clippers. He's starting to have a little mess with it. It's on a stick as well now. I think what's happening is it's one of these where you mess about, you don't know what's happening, and then all of a sudden it looks like a little bear or something, or like a little mouse. I think this could end up looking like a little mouse if you're not careful. Or maybe that's what he's intending to do. Classic sugar mouse. Or a little foxen. It could be a little foxen. Looks like they've sped him up. I haven't got him sped up, but it looks like they've sped him up. Or maybe it just works like that. Maybe it's the frame rate. Don't know. Maybe it does just work like that, like in these motions, like little quick motions. It's quite like, you know, they make little sugar mice and they just look like sort of mouse shaped. But here he's actually going in for like little feeties, like little details, little paws. Like, he's actually doing quite a detail. Like, it looks a bit random and a bit haphazard, but as it's starting to develop, it's starting to look actually quite detailed in ways. like a little extremely detailed for what I thought, because a sugar animal, like, you know, you might just like, you know, make it look a bit like a thing, but it's actually going in for quite a high level of detail. Here comes the tail, and it's lovely the way he's able to just clip off a piece and fashion it into what it becomes. And as he does that, as he removes that piece, the rest of the back appears. And like, it's just very, like, they're chuffing adverts. It's very clever the way you've got 2 dimensions to it. In fact, you can't see this advert, that's going away. You've got 2 dimensions to it. Like, you're cutting a piece away that you're going to use to make a thing out of, but you're cutting something away which creates a shape. So you've got 2 dimensions to what you're doing there, which is quite clever. There's other sweets that you probably don't. Look, what's going on with these adverts? This is the real deal when you're watching it. You know, I know that I'm a streamer, so I should have Prime now. I keep apologising, but when you're watching it on YouTube, you also get adverts. I do as well. It's a chuffer, isn't it? It's just the deal. Look at that tail. Look at that tail coming through. Look at this dog hit that he's making. This is really good. I don't know if his boss is going to be cross because he's got fucking sticks of candy to make and he's messing about doing one dog for an hour, but like, this is going to take about 20 minutes, this video, so he's going to show us different things in this. Is it different things? I think there's going to be different things in this one video, but I'm surprised by the level of detail. Oh, it's starting to harden up, look. So I guess what happens is, at some point, you have to stop working on it because it's hardened up now. So you do as quick as you can to get as much detail in as possible. And then your job, like, there's a limit. Like, it's almost like speed running a sculpture. There's like a limit on how much you can do. And now it's going on a thing in front of a fan. Presumably to cool it again, even more. But look at it. Look at the detail on it. Like the haunch and everything around the leggies. So clever. And it's a simple process of a shape, a snip, a shape, a snip. Like, he's doing the same. Like, there's a formula here, isn't there? Look, he's doing the same thing. He's got the shape of the nose, then these become the ears, and like again, it's making me think of the real primitive rock sculptures. Are they not petroglyphs, are they? Which are things that are drawn on the stone walls. I know the name for these things. They're, oh, I've forgotten the name anyway. They had a name. These little mini rock sculptures. Like the first things that humans did. The very first pieces of art. Like the little bits of rock that have been carved into shapes. It reminds me of that, really. Like taking something that's very simple, making a few little cuts and changes, and it becomes something that's very, very evocative of something like really well crafted. Yeah. It was a doggo, yeah. I think that one was a doggo. Hopefully we're going to see them being painted up as well at some point. And you can eat this as well. It's made of sugar. I mean, he's touched it a lot, so maybe don't eat this one, but might be nice to put it on top of a cake or some shit. But that's become the leggy. Cut a bit away, give it a squeeze. He's even put little paws. He even did, on the paws, he did 1, 2, 3 little toes for the paws. He's working quick as well, because he's got to, because once it's cool, it becomes too hard. You're done. I imagine that as an apprentice having to be under the pressure, because otherwise it's. Imagine the ones you do that don't end up good. Probably quite a few to get to this level of competency. That's a captain as well, I think. Again, like, this seems really fun and interesting to do, so I don't mind doing that as doing a load of them. But like, after a while, if I've got to do that every day, I'm going to be like, look, I don't want to do any more cats. I know I've become quite skilled and adept at them, but I've had enough of cats now for a while, thanks. But there is something quite unique and enjoyable about it. Often with cooking, I found, like working in the industry as well, that after I'd mastered something, I say mastered, not like, super mastered, not MasterChef, but after I'd got good and used to doing something, like I fancied a bit of a change. Like, I didn't feel that I could do the same dishes obviously some restaurants revolve the menu, others don't change as much, but I just felt like doing the same thing too much made me mentally a bit bored, and I just couldn't hack it. Like, patience is a virtue, and like, it requires a lot of patience to do certain things. Certainly to get to this level of skill, like doing a lot of these would really help, wouldn't it? So she's hand painting this very delicate little operation, and it's really interesting as well, like the other stuff we saw that we started this little YouTube wormhole with when we looked at the plastic food, or whatever it was made out of, wax food, or was it PVC? I don't know. Anyway, like with that, there's like something quite simple can end up looking quite realistic in a way. Like, this is obviously a bit cartoony as well. It's got little eyes, but little black eyes. But like, they're going for a level of like realism, aren't they? They're going for like from a bit of a distance. Like, that's really fucking good sugar dog, like a really good one. And like doing simple things like glazing it, little hand touches, little brush strokes. Even up close, it's really fucking good. Like, pretty realistic. The eyes are a bit cartoony, I guess, but like the tone on the coat and all that. That's a Shiba Inu, isn't it? Yeah, like a bit like Doge. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. Doggy, Doge. I say Doge anyway. Dogecoin. I still got some Dogecoin. Do you know what? Me and my mate did some fucking... This is a fuck up of a story. I've got the old computer still. Me and my mate did some day trading. Like, he was doing it a bit more, and I was like listening to him talk, and I was like, oh, okay, I've got like £100. And like, if I put £100 in, and I trade it all. Oh, actually, back then I think I was £40 I started with. I was like, if I start with £40 and I trade it back and forth between this coin and Bitcoin and that thing, over the course of the day, you know, there's a little fluctuation. I can move my thing and this and that, and I could make like, you know, another, say, £20-30. Like, I ended up putting £100 in a day, and I could make nearly £40 in a day if I sat down at the computer and traded back and forth with the right fluctuation. And a bit of luck. You don't need to just put everything. It's not, you don't go all in Vin on this. You know, you risk a certain amount, and you know, you wait another 40 minutes to an hour, and after this little fluctuations, like small trades between different, what do they call it, crypto coins. I found, like, at the time, like, obviously markets change, but at the time I could do a bit of day trading, I could make a profit. But the problem is that a bad trade here and there could wipe out like 3 or 4 days of work or a day's work. And in other industries, you don't wipe out your day's work. Like, if I do a good haircut, I've done a good haircut, I get paid. Like, 3 weeks later, I don't do a mistake, and then she comes back and says, right, you know, you did a mistake and now it's all gone. I want my money's back. Like, you know, you keep what you make in other industries, whereas with crypto, you stand to risk more, like, to make more reward. And in the end, it was like doing a hardcore grafting day job, and at my end, for potential payoff of a day's work, but with a lot of risk. So I reasoned I'd be better off working at McDonald's, because I don't have to risk my pay at McDonald's. I can just do the hard graft and get the pay. But like, at the time, it's like my one of the markets I was trading on the internet for this particular cryptocurrency was like a scam rug pull thing. I bought some of the cryptocurrency and I had to trade it on this particular market exchange or whatever. The person that ran the exchange like ran off with all the monies, and like I lost some monies in that, so that was bad, because then, like, you know, I'm not talking like thousands of pounds. I was only like day trading with small amounts to see if I could do it. But I realised, like, you know, you're completely, like, if that has been like a big investment thing that I'd put in that, I'd have been in trouble, you know, that would have been loads of money's gone. But because of that, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm fed up of it. It's a bit rubbish. So what I did was I put all the remaining stuff that I had into Dogecoin. So I had like £100 worth of Dogecoin, and it was at no monies. Like, it was just a meme coin. And then at one point, Elon Musk was tweeting about Dogecoin, and my fucking Dogecoin went up to £7,000 at one point, from £100 at the end of all my weeks, and not weeks and months, but a few weeks of experimenting with day trading. Just put it all in Dogecoin, left it, forgot about it, and maybe I should have put it into Bitcoin instead. But anyway, Dogecoin went up, and it went from £100 to like 7 grand. Now it's probably not worth that. It's probably worth £1 grand. It like went up and then it went down again, and I wasn't quick enough. And on the old computer and all this, I should have said, look, it's gone up, get it out. But in the end, I was just like, you know, I can see that it's gone up, and I know that I've made an extraordinary profit on my small investment, but it's not money that I can access, because to get it out of the Dogecoin wallet, you have to sell it on the market, and then you have to be able to put that market money from Bitcoin into something. Like, all this process was making me feel like I was fed up with it and couldn't be asked. And I'd already made a profit from £100, so whatever it ended up as, it ended up as. But it did go quite down again at the end. But at one point, I was a crypto millionaire. Well, I made 7 grand on Dogecoin that I didn't take out of the computer, and now it's not. You know, let's see what it's worth now. At one point, it was up here, and now it's dropped right back down. But I bought it when it was at worth like hit this. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. I bought it when it was worth like this much, like nothing, and then it went right up here, and that's where you needed to sell it. The big, and I didn't sell it. That was when it was worth 7 grand, and now it's dropped down. So that's 7 grand. This is nothing. So this must be about 3 grand. Like what I had, and the comparative amount was at that point in the market that I had 7 grand's worth. So this must be about 3, 2. £1 grand, you know, maybe I've got £1 grand in Dogecoin. I have got some money in a crypto wallet that has Dogecoin, and it hasn't dropped down to the tiny amount when I bought it. It is still some money, so I did make a profit, probably 10x my profit. But I just have it in the, like, how am I supposed to get it out of the Dogecoin wallet? I don't know, and I don't think it'll ever go up again. But it's settled for a lot higher than it was when I bought it. But I didn't sell it at the peak and any of that. I should totally have got out here and made a big pile of cash. But again, that's it. Kraken. You know, I think I can get it onto Kraken, but then how do I get it out? I didn't think that far ahead, and that's the problem as well. You need in the short term, liquidity in your business. Like, although I get money through the internet and it goes into PayPal and I can put it into a bank account, like, you know, it's better than this where to get it into your bank account, like they're very happy for you to put money into the market to mess about. For you to take the money out is a lot harder. So like the quick liquidity, the ability to say on a press of a button, I'm certain this is going straight into my bank account, that would be nice. Because that wasn't, like, to get Dogecoin into your bank account was some sort of like several hurdles. So it's still there on my crypto wallet. What are you talking about in chat there? Oh, the Queen. The Queen died, right? Yeah. Anyway, look. That came up because we talked about dogs, Doge, Shiba Inus. We're going to see a cat painted out of sugar now. I don't feel bad about like thinking like money I lost there. Like, oh, I could have had 7 grand. Yeah, but you know, I'm chill. I made a profit. I didn't lose the 7 grand that it once was. That was just a freak thing. And like, Elon Musk was manipulating the markets. He made a load of money. There was a cat one. There's a cat over there, so that's weird. Okay. Oosh. That looks like it's sped up, I think. It must be, mustn't it? I think it's fine to speed it up, to be honest, actually. Like, you kind of want to see it in the raw, but at the same time, you want to enjoy it as a piece of media. So just speeding it up to the right sort of level so progression happens at the right rate for you as the viewer. That's fine, actually. I think she's doing a really detailed job. She's not jabbing it on and slabbing it around, is she? She's really doing a little detailed little job. Taking her time over all the little details. I wonder if that's what all cats are painted like in the industry in Korea, or I wonder if she's putting her own little unique spin on it. And you know, kids in the area remember this from when they were a child, the way the little cat's face is. It's nice, isn't it? Like if someone bought you a sugar cap, you'd be pleased with that. I would be. It's a sugar treat. It's not very good for your teeth, etc. But I mean, simple thing. Kids like that sort of stuff. I think it's fine. It's not awful for you, is it? Oh, the Dogecoin died. The Dogecoin dog died. The Bitcoin, right? Yeah, don't get me started on that. When I was a hairdresser, mentioning hair, and he's brought up hair adverts, so fair enough. When I was a hairdresser, a lad I used to cut his hair, he was 16 at the time, and his older brother had just gone off to university. And I remember cutting his hair and saying to him, like, you know, so your mum wants you to do your A-levels now, doesn't she? And like, you've got to pick your universities, like, you know, hairdresser chat, you know, talking about what's, you know, you're going to be picking universities, what universities do you want to go to and where are you applying? And he said, I don't want to apply to university. My parents want me to, and my brother's done it, but I've got Bitcoin and I'm buying a lot of Bitcoin and I'm just doing every little job I can, and like he was telling me this, and I was at the time I was thinking, shit, your mom's going to be really cross at this. Like your mom's going to want you to go to university, and you're telling them bollocks. And he was doing like part-time jobs, you know, window cleaning, working at the boathouse, stuff like that, you know, insignificant jobs. And he was like, every coin I make, every bit of real money I make on these like part-time jobs or whatever, at 16, he was like, I'm putting it into Bitcoin. And this was years before Bitcoin got big. Like I was a hairdresser at the time, so it was like before I was on the internet. Like this is 10, 15 years ago. Like I don't know him now. I don't, like, you know, follow his story. I could probably find him on Facebook. I probably should, but I hope in my heart of hearts, you know, I just have these little hopes and prayers. I hope he did exactly what he was telling me, and he would be, if he did, he would be absolutely fucking rolling in it now. Like it was early enough. It was early enough, so. Yeah, I know his name off the top of my head as well, so I could check it out on Facebook. But I'm not going to do that on the internet now because a bit weird, isn't it? But an old client, I shouldn't really, legally, I shouldn't be, you know, looking up old clients on the internet. That's not, you know, I've got their contact details for haircuts, but I haven't got their contact details for just stalking their lives. So I shouldn't be doing that. But I am interested, you know, I'd love to know. I'd love to know, did the Bitcoin thing work out? Did you buy as much of it as you could? What happened in the years to come when you became a millionaire? Because like he would have to, at no point would he have had to, like the amounts he was putting in back then in the regions of hundreds of pounds would definitely have worked out into the thousands and thousands of pounds, and he would have no worry. The amount, like even just like working a summer's worth of summer jobs back then. Oh, look at this. Look at that tail. Whoa, I've got to see that again. Look at this. The skills. Look at that. This is where it's at. This is where it's at. Look at that. The skills. My hair's itching my nose now. The hairs are tickling me. And back then, my advice to him would have probably been, you know, follow your dreams and goals, but it might be nice to go to university and get an education and a degree just in case, etc. You know, my advice would have been probably, even as a, you know, a hairdresser. I also did his mum's hair, and like, you know, I could see that. You know, I remember thinking like he's going to, like this idea, like, because at the time Bitcoin wasn't like a guaranteed success or anything. I just remember thinking this is going to get him in trouble with his mom, because she's going to think this is just some scheme, like it's not going to work out and you need to get an education and, like, you know, go to university. And I remember, like, you know, my advice would have probably been like, the Bitcoin thing sounds interesting, but like, you know, how ironic, because I was busy working hard cutting hair. And like, what I should have been doing is listening to him, the 16-year-old in the hairdressing seat, telling me to buy Bitcoin. Like, I should have just listened to him. But like, how do you know? Like, you have so many people through your chair. Like, how would I? Like, he's not like Elon Musk level here. He's just like a 16-year-old kid who saw the potential in Bitcoin, put all his savings into it. But that would have been the play. Like if I'd have put every penny I made in hairdressing into Bitcoin at the time as well, if I'd have listened to him and literally stopped cutting hair and said, right, thanks very much for the money today. I won't be cutting your hair in the future. Everything in this shop is for sale. I'm putting it all into Bitcoin. I'd have probably been much, much better off today than the future. Probably how many years hairdressing did I do after that? I probably did another sort of 5 years hairdressing, and in the time, like, his money just like doubled and tripled and quadrupled, and mine just didn't. Like, yeah, wow, it's really weird, isn't it? It's really weird. You don't know. And like, it's also the Tommy Palm story, going back to what we were talking about with Stugan. Tommy Palm worked on mobile games back when we were playing games like Snake on the Nokia. Like, he thought, this is going to be big. And like, you had that one with the beans, Bantumi with the beans on your Nokia, Snake on your Nokia. Like, we didn't think games on phones were going to be big. Like, we didn't think watching people play games on the internet was going to be big. Like, even though I saw it happening and I love playing games, I was like, I like playing them. I don't like watching people play them. That's not going to take off. Like, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's hard as, even now at my age, which I'm not like some super old, you know, oh, when I were a lad, but I see younger generations growing up in this totally different world, and I feel it's so almost insane for me to say to them, you should listen to my advice about what you should do in your life, like jobs, anything. Like, in general, ethics and, you know, being a good chuffer. Like, I can teach a kid how to behave, you know what I mean? But giving them life advice on choices in the world, whether you want to make things out of sugar or like buy Bitcoin, like who am I to guess what's the right path? If you're happy doing it, you're happy doing it. I suppose that's the main thing. And it was a risk. It could have gone one way or the other. Yeah, but also, if he'd have put his savings and all that into Bitcoin and it had gone down, yes, I suppose. Like, but back then we were talking about ups and downs between like small amounts, like the way it went up and the size it went up. Like, to think back then, I'm talking about it could have been a risk and he could have lost it. Assuming he did what he said, like he essentially gambled, like, you know, a summer's worth of Saturday jobs and part-time jobs on a lifetime's worth of being a millionaire. So like, maybe it was worth the risk, actually. And like, maybe I was a fool to not put any of my head, because I had like piles of money at the end of the day, you know, going in the till, going in the bank, buying things for the business, you know, stuff like that. Like, I wasn't doing badly. I wasn't like rolling in it, but I could live. I could go out and eat meals in restaurants and, you know, enjoy myself and not have to, like, you know, stress about anything. So instead of doing that, if like, instead of like a few nights a week I'd done XYZ, I'd have just said, no, right, that's going in Bitcoin, we'll have a night in. Like, instead I was just like out living the life a bit more, wasn't I? Not caring about stashing it away in the Bitcoin or any place for the future, really, other than put more into the business and then it'll pay off in the future. But yeah, what a strange story that's come to mind. I'll have to look him up one day. Hopefully he is a Bitcoin millionaire, just doing whatever the fuck he wants. This is so good. This reminds me of glass work. Like, you see these little glass things made of glass and they're lovely and they look beautiful. Like, he's doing it out of sugar. Little clippers, little snippers. There's a lot of blade work involved, which is interesting. No, it's somewhere between sculpture, hairdressing and food. And like, sometimes you think you're messing about too much, and at the end of it, it's just a sweet, so you're going to eat it. Just make it look like a fish. Like, but I actually see the reason for the work in this. It seems to be worth the process. This isn't time wasted. This is time invested, because that looks absolutely cracking. I assume there's going to be colour in it as well at the end. Yeah, the crypto wagon has gone and come and gone, and that's the other thing about these things. You know, I wish I'd bought shares in Google, or, you know, by the time we hear about it and we're wise to it, often it's a bit too late. So some people do, like, there is this truth about success in life as well. For ultra success, like Bill Gates level success. If Bill Gates had been born 10 years later, Thanks very much. If Bill Gates had been born 10 years later, he wouldn't have been the success he is now, because right place at the right time with the right moves, the right ideas, that can go a long way. But, you know, once that thing has happened, whatever it is, like, some people will get lucky and other people don't. And, like, you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time as well, can't you? So, like, there is a bit of that in life, but that's life, I guess. Like, some people attribute ultra, like, they look at, this is a truth, this is an absolute truth that I believe, I guess, rather than an absolute truth, but some people look at really successful people and say, well, you know, you put them all together, there must be something, they're all doing the same, and there must be this, like, you know, Bill Gates, I'm thinking of tech people for some reason, but Steve Jobs, you know, these people, what is it they're all doing that you know, maybe I can learn from, and maybe I can be as successful as them? And some of it might be, well, like, they had the exact specific knowledge and they were in the right industry. They had, like, predicted it in a way, they hoped for it, but, you know, they can't predict the future in every way, can they? And, like, you know, you can't go and do that now with what Bill Gates did. And he might not be able to, like, if you took all his money away from him and said, become a millionaire again, he might be like, well, the things I used to know that I was ahead of the game on, I'm not, so it's going to be a lot harder for me now. Like, Bill Gates is not, you know, he's just an example of anyone. Like, you know, sometimes circumstance in life does make a big difference, right? And so if you try and study the successful people and draw absolute truths, like I was saying, I used the phrase just a minute ago because I'm really tired now, but, you know, and say that there's these commonalities and factors that must be drawn, and to ignore the fact of being in the right place at the right time, not just luck. Luck's a funny word because, you know, you have to do your part, you have to put your work in as well, but like, if Bill Gates had been born 10 years earlier and had the same ideas, it wouldn't have worked because computing technology was not at the right point. And, like, as that curve of computing technology and technological advance happened, he was there to ride the wave with the ideas at the right time. Like, if he hadn't have done it, maybe someone else would, but certainly 10 years down the line, those same ideas aren't going to cut it. So, like, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, or maybe it's something he feels he can apply to any business. You know, maybe he's got this gift of he can do it to anything, or maybe there was a lot to be said. Like, in terms of extraordinary, massive growth and profit, you know, if you're the best at making these sugar animals, there's not going to be an extraordinary market growth and profit in these sugar animals. But certain other things, maybe there could be. So, you know, maybe there was that. But yeah, interesting stuff. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and be successful as well, because, oh, well, you have to be in the right place at the right time, you have to be lucky, you have to put yourself in those positions, you know, you have to have some faith. You have to work hard to be in the right place at the right time to capitalise. You know, if you are, and you find yourself in that position, through prediction or, you know, good luck or whatever, you have to be able to work hard and capitalise on it, don't you? So that's a skill in itself, to see it, to realise it, and then to do it. But yeah, if Bill Gates had been born in communist China, then he wouldn't have been the business success he is today, would he? Or, like, you know, if his family had fallen on hard times when he was younger and moved to communist China, then again, whatever ideas he had and whatever business acumen he had, he might not have been the same business success as he is today. This is in Japan as well, it's not China. But that's coming out really nice, isn't it, that fish? I really like the fact that it's completely translucent. It reminds me of glassware. Really enjoy that. It's getting a good paint job now. Yeah, computers have come a long way, haven't they? Yeah. I have a Spectrum as well. And on that Spectrum, I could code only real basic shit, you know, like lines, not graphics, but geometric lines on the screens and stuff like that. you know, a bit of basic coding. I think at one point I went to a computer class and we coded a Snakey game or something, but like, back then I had no concept that what I was doing could turn into what it is today. I didn't have the force. I was only a kid. I was just messing around playing, making games and having a bit of interest. But it is interesting, isn't it? Like maybe if I'd been like 5 or 10 years older, like, I'd have been able to capitalise on that opportunity a bit better and understand what was happening in the world. I'm not dissing it, I'm not complaining, oh, I'm not Bill Gates because I'm not 5 years older, but I'm just, you know, it's just interesting, isn't it? I was there as a kid, as an end user, hoping that games were going to get really good, unable to predict that they would become the market-leading entertainment in terms of growth. Like, games take more money than films. That looks incredibly like a glass fish that you might see in my auntie. Well, she's long dead now and gone, bless her. But my auntie used to have this glass cabinet with like glass items in it. A Murano glass clown. And like, it's exactly the sort of thing she would have in that cabinet, like this glass fish. I would never be allowed to touch or play with it, but I used to be fascinated by it. It's incredible, isn't it? And that's sugar work that you can eat it. Like, she's putting all that care and detail in. And I suppose somebody sucks and eats it like a lolly. Or do you buy that and like put it on display in your home and like, you know, not eat it because it's a souvenir from your hotel stay in Japan? I don't know why I added hotel, I meant holiday. You know, is it a sort of ornamental sugar work? I imagine you do eat it. I imagine it goes on the top of a cake or something and then you just fucking eat it or give it to a kid. Right, the kid ends up eating it. But it's incredibly good. Like, all that little detail really works. If you're all hungry now, then I'm not going to watch the last one. I'm going to go and get myself some tucker. And it's time for nights. It's nearly 4 in the morning. The cat's meowing. I've put in a big shift tonight because I didn't put in so much over the week. We'll do some cuts out of this, get them up on YouTube. I'll be back tomorrow with Thus, I'm pretty sure. Might get shifted to Tuesday, I don't know. I really want to get the tarot back on with... People are teaching me what the tarot means, and we're talking about Dark Side Phil at the same time. So that needs to come back. And I need to do a lot of streams next week. You know, I really just need to do a lot of streams in general. So I'll be seeing you next week. Absolutely guarantee that. Well, I don't absolutely guarantee it. You know, God willing, obviously. But I hope you have a good night or a day or whatever the time is. Wherever 8 hours I've been live, right? Wow. Yeah. I hope you have a good day or night or whatever it is. And I need to go and eat something and go to bed. So you be good, my little puckos. And if you can't be good, you're naughty.